Ragnarok, or I'm sorry, the State of Ragnarok Transcendence, number 7. Hopefully you guys have been giving, or had a good week since the last time I saw you. Hopefully everybody's still washing their hands, practicing social distancing, and trying to wear any type of cloth covering over the mouth when you go out. Pro tip, try a bandana with a cool like logo or something on it, you know, and people can't look at you crazy because you're still covering your face. But anyways, man, enough about that. A lot has changed within actually since last week, actually because of the implementation of WoW. As you guys see, I got the WoW going on in the background. If you guys want to check out my YouTube channel, I uploaded our first WoW from Saturday, and it actually went pretty successful. You got about 5 castles. And the economy and overall everybody playing the game was actually pretty good. There was a lot of people on for WoW. I don't know if it was a bunch of players who keep consistently playing all the time, or if they took a break and they came back, or they're just simply people playing people's accounts that they have made, because a lot of people do that. Hey, like, you know, hey, do you have a night account I can play? Or, you know, hey, hey, that's Sage. You guys need somebody to play one of your extra characters? And usually people log on to play and do what they need to do. So that has been very cool. I'm just going to go over the economy, then Fever Fields, and then we'll spend most of the time on WoW, and also the skill rebalance patch that's coming up really quick within the next weeks or so. They're going to test this week and then release it the next week. So first and foremost, the economy's looking pretty good. Bubblegum and oh my goodness, battle menus are on the rise again. Last time I checked it, they were about 160k and rising, so that's a good sign. More people getting back into the game, more people farming, more people leveling up those correct WoW builds and stuff like that after realizing maybe they don't have the most optimal build for WoW. Fever Fields have been fantastic since they fixed the coat not having the right stats on it, so you can get a coat or a chainmail now, and I was actually get a couple okay ones. Where they have stats on them. I was actually able to purchase one that had 10 magic defense, and I do believe 5% HP increase, which is really nice. I'm hoping to get one that's 7% in magic defense, 7% mass XP, and then magic defense or resistance to water. Or, you know what, I wouldn't mind if I can actually get neutral property, but a lot of people are saying that we don't know 100% if the neutral property is working or not, but that can be easily tested by in PvP, so we'll definitely have to look into that. Maybe if I get a neutral one, I'll go to PvP and test it out. But I'm pretty sure the resistance to neutral property damage is real good. And the reason why you'd want neutral resistance property 20%, that's like having another immune on, and that reduces G-Fist damage, because that is actually pretty terrifying. But on the side note, like I said, between the chains are really good for like defensive classes, like, you know, like a Saxator or a Priest, because you can get some nice HP rolls on them. I'm looking for one that has HP Vitality. That would be the dream. 4 Vitality, 350 or higher HP, that'd be phenomenal. But, I mean, in all honesty, I wouldn't mind paying money for it, but I gotta find it. I think some people realize when they get like a chain, 3-socketed chain from Fever Fields, they're like, oh, this just has Vid and HP on it. Why do I need this crap for? But that's actually very strong for a Sac Crusader, because we want to have as much HP as possible. So if I get fisted or my allies get fisted, we have a high chance of surviving it, and I have been surviving a lot of them, which is pretty cool. If you definitively want to just, you know, shut down G-Fizz, getting a Devil Ring card would do that, but it does make you more susceptible to elements, so when people start bowling bash you, is actually quite terrifying. So, you know, just food for thought. So, you know, as long as things keep going the way they're going and people keep hunting the Fever Fields, not to mention they have multiple clone maps, not to mention now the monster spawns right next to you, which is how it should be. You know, a lot more people should be finding a lot of solid armors. Excuse me. And the only thing I complain about it is just that the Zen Orcs on the Orc Dungeon map too, they pick up stuff, so do the Chon-Chons, and sometimes they can delete an item. So if you got a special type of monster you're about to kill, make sure there's no monsters around that can loot the loot that it drops in case it does, you know, drop it. Because sometimes if a monster that eats items off the ground, it can only hold so many items. And each additional item that it picks up outside it, once it's full, it deletes the item. So I've lost a piece of gear that way, so make sure you're very careful. Usually I like to clear everything out, when I notice there's a bunch of loot mobs around me, and then I'll kill a special name monster, and then if they drop something, I even keep like greed skulls on me in case things get kind of hectic, because the spawn rate does get kind of crazy. So just a little pro tip out there. So economy's cool, Fever Fields is cool. Now here's a big chunk, well, big thing, the main thing is WoW. I had a fun time at WoW. I ran a Sack Paladin. If you guys need that guide, I'll put that inside the comment section, because I was actually able to level the Sack server, believe it or not, without leeching. All I did is just, you know, had the right setups early on, and then once I got to Evil Druid, I stayed there from level 50 to 99 at Evil Druid. Seems like a little bit crazy, but I did get a lot of nice bone wands and a lot of nice Evil Druid cards, which should be going for price due to WoW being the big thing now. And it's really easy to run, and it doesn't require a lot of, you know, items or stuff like that, because you have so much vitality and you have so much SP from int. But pretty much it's 93 vit. I do believe 87 dex to hit 90. And then of course the rest of my points are into int. The vitality of course for 100% stun resistance and extra HP. The dex that high, so we can get out the fastest sacrifice possible, even though they do have, it has a fixed casting time and that's something else. But if you don't get any dexes, from what I've saw, it's quite horrendous. I had to double check, but I'm pretty sure that you know, having the high amount of dex that I do in combination with the int lowers the amount of the you know, well, the fixed cast time we can't do anything about, but the set cast, the variable cast time, it does have an effect on that. So my gear is pretty straightforward. I got a couple of sport clips. I got an immune muffler. I got that new coat, which has MDef, and it actually has HP. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing. My main hand weapon has plus, I think, like 400 vit, and has 3 favor cards in it. You know, pretty straightforward stuff, man. Poo-poo hat, all that good stuff. So, you know, my gear set worked out pretty well. I didn't really die to any G-Fist, so that was fantastic. Might have been a good work of my sages dispelling the monks. I think they can dispel off, you know, the spears. I could be wrong though. I think I'm incorrect, but I don't know. I really didn't get put into situations where I got fisted a lot, and you know, because it's not like Restart where the G-Fist can go off so quickly. Monks are definitely a lot more in check. Some monks were combo fisting, some were actually fisting. But no matter what happens, you get the SP debuff when that happens. But on a side note, hopefully no one takes this the wrong way. Maybe it's just because I'm not saying like we're the god end all be all for WoW. There are other servers with crazy people, like in the Philippines and KRO, that, and Japan, they have their RO. They have sophisticated levels of WoW tactics. The one thing I noticed is that maybe it's because everybody's experienced in my guild or stuff like that, is that a lot of people are disorganized in WoW. For the most part, you always usually have a couple, you know, different sages for Magnetic Earth. You usually have them up front dispelling people. And then, you know, you usually have your priest storing up buffs and keeping everybody healed up, or mostly just refreshing all the buffs and, you know, doing status, or, you know, status ailment, or basically canceling your statuses out, as they should. And the one thing I noticed, man, is just, we were pushing up, you know, moving our ground protector or magnetic earth, whatever you want to call it, up, and we would just time all our knights and crusaders running onto their magnetic earth, and then just basically bowling bashing or holy crossing everything to death while, you know, pushing into them. And we had our sack satyrs in the back. I always loved playing sacrifice, and basically all I was doing was just cycling through sacrifices on my high priority targets. One was a priest, one was a sage, one was a wizard, and, you know, whatever else I could fit for my fourth one. You really don't want to sack 5 people because you only want to keep 4 sacks, so you can keep cycling the sacks over and over again, because people are always going to constantly be dispelling. Like, a lot of people wonder, like, you know, outside of Paladin, and even with the future chances, like with Paladin, you would occasionally cast Gloria Domini, but that skill is going to change how it actually works. So, for the most part with the sack satyrs, it's just me just basically sitting in the back, cycling through it all. But long story short, man, I think a lot of people didn't build WoW builds, because I remember a conversation inside the forums. People were asking for a stat reset, and I'm like, yeah, they're not going to give you no stat reset until the new skills come out, maybe. And I don't think a lot of people prepared WoW characters. And by WoW characters, I mean like 100 vit, right stats, right, you know, certain builds that you need to leech. Usually most times, 9 times out of 10, unless you're a Satyr with Holy Cross, because that skill's just so powerful. So I think a lot of people just been using their PVM characters, and let me tell you, when you're running 2 or 3 Dazzler, dancers in your group, there's really not much that you have to worry about, because half their guild's going to be stunned half the time, and then you can basically deal with it. No problem. As you guys can see on the screen in the background right now, I'm just kind of sitting in the back sacking, and shout out to my priest and my bards, man. Between the lute and then also the sanctuaries at the back of the ground protector, I mean, I could just sit back there and just keep my prime target sacrificed and everything like that. So I'm not saying I didn't have fun with WoW. WoW was very entertaining, but it's going to be interesting to see how the actual server develops, because unless some guilds band together, or unless people get their setups correctly, I mean, if you look like how everybody's moving back right there, like people got to get real on it. Now in smaller battles is way more intense, but like in these, you know, guild versus guild fest, like it's gonna be interesting. Now with the changes to upcoming nights and stuff like that, and how I think they're gonna be the future powerhouse, things might change a little bit different. But for right now, you know, maybe I'll make a video about WoW and how stacks should work and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to say we're better than anybody else, but everybody just died. And we had some good battles here and there, but for none of the stuff was like very like high pressure. The only situation where it was kind of difficult is because they had MVPs, which I don't understand why people didn't kill them, but you know, whatever. MVPs dragged by certain portals or certain doors. Like, they had one guild precasting, and they had an MVP up front. That was stressful as shit. It was a stormy night, and it was fucking terrible. But we eventually broke through and broke the castle. That was very stressful. But, I mean, if there wasn't for the MVPs, I don't really would have saw any problem with us trying to go in there and break it. So we're going to have to see how things go. But hopefully people start working on those WoW builds. Hopefully people start researching and start getting better at stacking. And then, you know, start trying to figure out, like, little different compositions and stuff like that and see what's going on. And, I mean, that's pretty much about it for WoW. I look forward to the future WoWs. I look forward to, you know, maybe get some of the high-end loot out of there so I can, you know, maximize my Sack Crusader. I always like being in a support kind of type, you know, like, you know, the ability to protect your friends from damage is fantastic. Overall, I have to say I'm very satisfied with my build that I went, because, like I said, the high amount of HP, being able to cycle through sacrifice, the level 10 auto guard's really strong. I know a lot of people try to go higher level reflect, but if you're a sack sitter, I'd say go auto guard, because it's a 30% chance to block a hit. Helps versus everything. Not to mention, you know, when a monk comes up and G-fists you, he has a he has a 3 out of 10 chance, or a 30% chance to get blocked, which is huge. And that's the kind of stuff you want going on. Because the beautiful thing about a sack sitter is if they G-fist your target and you die, well, you die, but then they wasted they use their G-fist and they can't do anything else. Now, if you somehow block a G-fist or auto guard, that is like, as a monk, I'm pretty sure any monk out there will tell you it's the worst feeling ever, because you just got blocked, the person didn't die, and now you have to wait for the SP penalty to go away, and then you got to rebuff up and do all that shit again. So that's always pretty entertaining. The auto guard is also very good for people, you know, when knights come on our stack and I got my certain target sacked, and then they bowling bash, and then half their hits get blocked from auto guard. So definitely make sure you guys take that auto guard to level 10. It's really strong. You will not regret it. The only thing outside of that, and everything that's going WoW, and people maybe have to start looking at their builds and stuff like that, is the KRO skills that are coming out. I didn't think it'd be coming this soon. They're going to try to put it out this week, and then they're going to try to test it. Or I'm sorry, they're going to put it out this week and test it, and then next week they think they're going to just come in and just do these updates. Now, this is kind of crazy to me. Now, we're going to spend a little time on this, a little bit more detail, because this is a list I had before. We're just going to go through top to bottom. Swordsman reduces delay after 2 seconds to half a second. 2-second cooldown for Magnum Break. As long as it gives the increased damage, that's also the only thing people care about. You know, Crazy Uproar changes skill mechanism, grants force strength and attack 30 to the user and nearby party members. So that's really cool with Crazy Uproar. Adds 30-second cooldown. I look forward to that. That will be a really good buff to have before you go into a precast or just, you know, fighting shit. Firebolt, Cold Bolt, Lightning Bolt. Increase the fixed cast time to 0.8 seconds to 1.2 seconds on level 10. Reduces variable cast time from 3.52 seconds to 3.2 seconds. Greatly reduces skill delay. So I don't know how that will pan out, but that's interesting. They also changed Thunderstorm, Firebolt, Soul Strike, and Frost Driver. So mages are going to be interesting. I think mages are going to be a lot stronger later on once certain gear comes out. But for right now, with the skill rebounds, I don't really see anything that's going to be anything too crazy. Acolyte also increases hit by 2 per skill level. That's huge. Bless increasing your hit chance, fucking huge. I play on a Ragnarok Project Zero server that emulates the Project Zero server, the Korean Zero server extensively. And let me tell you, that hit made my life so much easier when I was leeching up an alcohol, because I would buff my killer, and oh my god, that extra hit is amazing. So you'll end up getting plus 20 hit, which is just, like I said, man, that is a great change. Increase agility, also increases attack speed per skill level. You know, that's cool. I don't know if it's actually working intended. I could be wrong, but that's pretty huge as well too, because it actually will help with the attack speed. So that's before it used to just give 12 agility and speed up. It does that. Plus, it has also increased attack speed. Angelus also increases max HP by 50 per skill level. I think Angelus goes to 10, so you increase somebody's HP by 500. That's pretty monstrous. That's pretty monstrous when you think about it. If somebody actually got, if the Angelus does go to 10, I'm pretty sure it goes to 10, or it might just go to 5. Anyways, 250 HP or 500, whatever, that is huge. I mean, if you have a priest that just sits with your Saxators, they can always just, boom, Angels, or no, I'm sorry, that's just a wide buff, so like that just helps out everybody. I forget, Angels hits everybody, so Angelus is going to be very strong. And then Holy Light reduced fixed casting variable time by 50%. I don't know how that's going to happen. Maybe Acolyte's a bit of Holy Light a little bit more, or in Priest. I don't really see the point of that. Most priests just go to Evil Druid and heal bomb everything to death. Knight is going to be huge because Bowling Bash, if you have a two-handed sword, it's going to hit 4 targets. Or it's going to hit 4 hits. Reduces the delay after skill, adds 1 second cooldown. So they won't be able to spam it too much, but if you have like 5 to 10 knights all run on a certain group of people and they all time their Bowling Bashes at the same time with that two-handed sword, they're all hitting all those targets that get caught in the Bowling Bash for 4 hits, and that's really freaking strong. As long as they're not in the gutter line, of course. So that is going to be real interesting, but like I said, you have to use a two-handed sword. That's the interesting thing, because you only get the 4 hits if you use a two-handed sword. So, I mean, you risk not having the Thara, but when you're just trying to get in and kill somebody or somebody on an imp, you just switch to a two-handed sword and a bunch of knights Bowling Bash. That's going to be terrifying. Outside of that, what's more terrifying is Brandish Spear. Changes damage type to become long-range physical damage. Now, I don't know if Numa will block that, but that'll be interesting. But the scary thing with that is you don't need a two-handed spear for the amount of damage they increased upon it. You could actually rock a one-handed spear and a shield and just brandish on everybody until they Numa. And if they're on top of Magnetic Earth, well, you can't Numa on Magnetic Earth. They can, you know, Numa like in the front of it or in the back of it, but I mean, a knight can just run up and just start spamming Bowling Bash, and that's pretty crazy. So we'll have to see how the in-game damage of that is. If people prefer Brandish over everything else, you're going to see one-handed spears and two-handed spears skyrocket. Two-handed spears are mostly for maybe just extra added damage and woe, but mostly probably for PVM. But one-handed spears like poleaxe, that shit's going to skyrocket. Anything Bronca, anything like that, you know, if they can get good damage out of one-handed spear, whatever the strongest one-handed spear is, it's probably gonna go up astronomically. I'm just guessing, because if Brandish ends up being that good, because I'm looking at the damage right here and I'm seeing like 22,000, like that's crazy. I mean, like hypothetically, let's say you're able to get a Brandish that does 20k to be conservative, and then you know woe reductions is 30%. You know, that's minus 6,000. You're still hitting for 14k. I don't think Brandish is going to be that crazy. We're going to have to wait. That's going to be interesting. We're just going to have to wait and see what's up, because Brandish is going to be terrifying. But they might end up, it might being reduced additionally even more. I don't know what. We'll have to wait and see, but be on the lookout for Brandish. 200 Quicken increases attack speed, reduces delay by 10%. Also increases crit and hit per skill level. That's just making two-handed Quicken work just like two-handed Spirit Quicken. So two-handed Spirit Quicken ups your fleet, ups your hit, and it gives you crit. That's fair. I get it. Plus the attack speed increase. So, you know, they're bringing up the par. And I don't know if I don't think they get the flee though, but they do get the crit and the hit, which is really huge. Or maybe no. You know the difference is they're getting crit and hit, and with two-handed Spirit Quicken, it's crit and flee. So you know, one set gets flee, which is the Crusaders. The Knights, they get their little hit per skill level, which is pretty cool. Charge attack, I don't know how that's gonna go. That damage seems to be pretty high. But like I said, I think that's like a platinum skill or something like that you have to get later. But we'll have to take a look at that again. That's another skill I'm kind of wondering about. Blacksmith, the general one, increases attack speed, also increases hit per skill level. I mean, that might be pretty cool inside of PvE. I can't really see affecting one much. Assassin, Sonic Blow, removes action motion, improves damage from this skill, will do more damage against the target's HP load 50% by 50%. So that's pretty huge. Now, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. You might end up seeing some Sonic Blow Assassins, but I mean, if somebody's getting low or somebody's in a precast where they're spawning... I mean, you might have some, you know, Sonic Blow Assassins, but like I said, we won't know until we actually test it. But that is pretty interesting, and it does add a 1-second cooldown. Venom Splasher reduces cooldown from 12 to 10 seconds, removes red gem consumption, which is good. Greatly increases damage, so, you know, you got Ascend right here, and, you know, doing stuff like that. So Ascend just got the target low, and then it just did Sonic Blow. So that will be interesting as well too. So if that damage number looks up, Sins might actually be a legitimate class. I don't think you'll see that many agility Sins anymore. Who knows? You might just see a Sin that goes, you know, gets the 100 vit and goes high strength, high dex. You know, gets 100 vid, or he finds out a good strength, gets some nice damage on their weapons and stuff, and they might be able to kill people, who knows, or Lex, or do whatever. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see. All this stuff is speculation. Wizard guys, Lord of Million, reduces fixed casting time, reduces variable casting line. So it looks like they're making things basically cast faster. Some things are increases the damage is a little bit better. Some things like Meteor Stormer has a 7-second cooldown additional. Adds 6-second cooldown for Stormgust and stuff like that. And it seems like mostly on level 10 iterations of the spell. Jupiter Thunder reduced fixed casting time 1.212 seconds to 0.5 seconds, so that's pretty good for Jupiter Thunder. So I don't know much about Wizard, but we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. It could be a very good thing, but if it's looking like how it has in the picture, where you guys see this Wizard right here, he does Stormgust and then he hits him with the Jupiter Thunder, and he just does, like, you know, ridiculous amount of damage. That looks very promising. The only thing I'm kind of worried about with all these skills rebalance, I think these skills are balanced with the thought of having trans characters with higher HP in the game. I don't know if they actually built all these rebalanced skills around the fact that these characters were on or are non-transcendent. So that will also be very interesting when the damage starts coming out. Or maybe people just rise to the challenges by having better gear from the Fever Fields. Maybe you'll just need better gear to mitigate a lot of this damage. Priest, Madness Exorcism, reduces fisting cast time from 3 seconds to 1 second. That's really good. Reduces variable cast time from 12 seconds to 4. Reduces delay from skill by 1.5 seconds to 1. Adds 6-second cooldown. Changes to deal damage to all race enemies, how it should have been from the get-go. It does 130% magic attack per hit, up from 100% to demon race, undead, shadow property, undead property. So it will do damage to all characters. So Priest could actually precast ME, which is pretty fucking incredible. I don't know how that's gonna work though. I don't know how the damage is gonna be. It may or may not be that good. But if it is undead, demon, or shadow property, or you know, it's gonna take more damage. If you have if you're wearing a deadly, which is an evil druid card in your armor, if they're precasting it, you'll take a lot of extra damage, so you gotta keep that in mind. Mace Mastery increases crit per skill. This would be good for combo monks. Suff reduces variable cast time with a limiter count to the user and nearby party members for the duration. So if it's Suff, I wonder if it's going to do everybody in a certain area. That's going to be interesting, because then it'll be important to have priests maybe suffing for the wizards and stuff like that. Postal Mana change skill mechanism, increase attack and magic attack to the user and nearby party members. So that's really good, because that's going to help out the wizards and stuff for it, because Postal Menace first was just strictly for melee classes and stuff like that. Hunter reduces fixed cast time from 1 to 0.3 seconds, adds a certain variable cast time for the traps. I don't know how that's going to affect it. Blitz Hunters change damage formula from the factor depends on the agi and dex. Auto Blitz beat no longer split damage among multiple targets. I don't know how that's gonna go. Maybe you might have some nice, you know, Blitz beat like Hunters with, you know, high damage just sitting there and auto attacking people and going crazy with their bird to, you know, kill them. Grand Cross is gonna be changed a little bit. I don't think it's still gonna be a good skill. We'll have to wait and see. Shield Boomerang. This new formula is gonna be fantastic because you can do a lot of damage. It's going to be pretty interesting. I don't know what's making that person cast so fast. I'm thinking it's the attack speed, but I'm not too for sure. I know the shield upgrade has an effect on the damage. The skill level is, or it changed the damage formula. The new damage formula is 80 times skill level plus attack. So I don't think you'll have to worry about having a big shield anymore, or heavy shield. But the most interesting thing is, you know, I'm looking at this character throwing out these, you know, throwing out this Spear Quicken, or I'm sorry, the not Spear Quicken, Shield Boomerang, and it seems to be doing very good damage. But I need to know, like, is it affected by attack speed more? Do you still need to have a high amount of dex for it to be cast out that quick? You know, I think it's just agi and your attack speed. So is your attack speed? That'll be very interesting to see. Maybe some Battle Crusaders who go like, you know, Shield Boomerang, who can be far range and people are coming in and you're just throwing it and going crazy. So that will be interesting, because I mean, if the skill does pretty good damage, it'll be kind of hard to kill those shield Shield Boomerang Crusaders if they go battle correctly, because they'll be able to get Shield Boom 5, Defending Aura 5, Auto Guard 10, and they'll be able to get Shield Reflect 10. And those targets you really don't want to touch with, you know, G-Fist. I mean, you're gonna want to dispel them, but I mean, they can recast most of it pretty quickly, and you know, keep forcing the Sage to keep dispelling them. But it's going to be interesting. Bomb increases chance to destroy weapon, changes damage time special melee physical to normal physical damage, changes damage formula, does additional damage depending on skill level of post and research. Acid Terror, you know, changes damage formula, new damage formula, it deals damage depending on the skill levels post and research. We don't know how this is going to be. But just looking at the damage, it's just going to depend, man. You know, especially since they're putting down, you know, like for the bomb and stuff like that. When targets run into it, they take a good amount of damage. So that'd be pretty good for the precast and stuff like that. When people make it through the precast, you put it behind. The Acid Terror seems actually terrifying because that damage is pretty ridiculous. It's like Acid Bomb, but not as, you know, lethal. So if this actually ends up being a strong skill, expect to see a lot more Alchemists coming up, stepping up to the plate, and you know, doing what they got to do. Rogue, you know, Sightless Mind, reduced SP consumption, that's blah. Backstab, change skill mechanism, moves targets back immediately and deals damage. That might be interesting to get through precast. I don't know if you'll be able to backstab a target that's on a ledge and get behind them, but if you could do that, that'd be pretty cool. Intimidate also increases attack speed, reduces lead skill by 1% per skill level. That's actually pretty cool. Might help out with Bowling Bash and different stuff like that, but we'll have to wait and see. Deluge Whirlwind Volcano changes catalyst from Yellowstone to Blue Gemstone, which is fantastic. Volcano also increases magic attack too. That's pretty cool, good for precasting. Endow Tsunami, Endow Tornado, Quake, Endow Blaze reduces casting from 3 to 1 seconds. Change catalyst to Indigo Point, Yellow Wish Point, Lime Green Point, Scarlet Point. Also increases corresponding element damage by 1% per skill level, so that will kind of be cool. You can endow some of your magical characters for more damage. Hindsight. I'm not really too interested in that. I don't think that's gonna have a big pack on WoW unless, you know, if you're making a hindsight character, that definitely might make a difference and stuff like that. Monk, adjusts the side penny of Knuckle. Guillotine Fist, when used in combo skill, can be used when there's a one spirit spear or more remains. Increases damage by 100% when there's 6 spirit spears or more remains. It reduces SP recovery penalty duration from 10 to 3 seconds. So that's going to be interesting for the SP thing. I think that's to help monks out so more G-Fist can go out and WoW. You know, increase damage by 100% when there are 6 spirit spear or more remains. That's going to be interesting. When used in combo, the skill can be used when there is 1 spirit for or more remains. So we're going to have to wait and see how that works out, but that might be a pretty significant boost to the monks and stuff like that. Root effect duration change to 10 seconds, can be used on boss monsters, but duration is reduced to 2 seconds. That's interesting. Just 2 seconds, but maybe they have a reason behind that. Occult Impactation slightly increases damage, deals additional damage 50% when used on target that user caught with Root. Throw Spirit Spear, Spiritual Spear Absorption. And Let's see, Bard and Dancer. Oh my gosh. Reduces variable cast time 1.5 to 0.5 seconds. Musical lesson increases attack speed. As long as they can play their songs and Dazzler can be spammed and Froststroke can be spammed, I think that's way more important. I think this is like more quality of life through their PvE setup. Changes skill mechanics, reduces variable cast time, delay skills in user part management within the radius, reduces variable casting, reduces delay after casting skill. And so hopefully with the changes that they're doing, it will have a significant impact on the skills that we have. We're gonna have to wait. And then looks like a lot of changes to the Bard and the Dancer and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on. Hammeric Lick seems interesting. 20% attack speed, magic, HP, SP. Reduces consumption skill by 30, increases HP. I wonder where the hell that comes from. That might be a higher level skill. That might be for Gypsy or something, but definitely interesting to see all the changes that are gonna happen. Actually, no, that's actually for the base classes and stuff like that. So, there you go. Now, in terms of the trans classes, we're not going to go into that today because, let's be honest, there is no trans classes yet, and we'll review it later on in the future when we do. And it's been 31 minutes, man. I run about 6 minutes over. I usually like to keep these minutes to videos to 25 minutes or less. So, I'm going to go ahead and gracefully bow out. I hope you guys like this Ragnarok Transcendence. I hope you guys keep developing your WoW skills. And if you guys ever have questions about setups, let me know. But if you're rocking certain classes and you don't get the 100-bit, it will make a difference when you do. And if you're studying and freezing a lot and your items are breaking, you might have to relook or reevaluate some things. But as always, I hope you guys have a good day. Make sure you guys listen to all your doctors and all your healthcare professionals and scientists about the coronavirus to protect yourself and your family. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button so you guys know. Hit the like button. Subscribe so you guys know when my stuff gets posted, and hit that bell notification that will let you immediately know when I post things. If you want to catch me live on Twitch, twitch.tv/SPSDebo. That's it. I'm done rambling. I'll see you guys next week. God bless.